Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, family. How you
Ramadan
doing?
Mubarak
Ramadan Mubarak, family.
and
How are you?
Ramadan Kareem. All right.
Okay, let me check
Let
that
me
part.
let me open that up. There you go.
Okay.
How is everyone? Praying that you are awesome. We are awesome. We are excited. This is the third day of Ramadan. For those who know and those who may not know, this is a sacred time of the year for the Muslims and for those who love the Lord, right? This is our opportunity to get closer to the God, to show and strive to be even closer to Him, being more prayerful, fasting from food, fasting from water from sunup to sundown, and abstaining from relations with your husband or your wife, and no arguing and no bickering. I think sometimes we forget about that part. Really, you have to be patient, more patient with one another and with ourselves. So, again, we thank you all for coming to Mind Spark Creation, where this is the place, fam, where you can come to let the spark in your mind create a new reality.
All praises is due to Allah. All
That's
praises
right.
is
And
due
it
to
is
Allah.
awesome Thinking Thursday, as Mr. Muhammad. Okay, we got to get Mr. Muhammad together. It looks fine on here, but when you. Okay, we're not going to worry about the bow
I got it.
tie. All right, he going to get it together, fam.
Assalamu alaikum.
All right, so as
Live and in living color,
that's right.
family.
That's true. That is true. Um,
How's
our
everybody's Ramadan going so far? Excuse my bow tie. I'm trying to fix it. I might have to scrap it because it's not doing. Walaikum salam.
peace queen, did you get your pieces yet?
Uh, ah,
Don't worry about it.
okay. Sorry.
Yes. All right.
Forgive you,
Praise
brother.
be to Allah.
Forgive you,
We
brother.
just wanted to look good for the first Thursday in Ramadan. So, we wanted to be suited and booted today, because it's a beautiful day and we so appreciate the God for allowing us to be present. So, you all know before we get started, we're going to let my husband open up because he does that so much better than
Oh,
I
not yet. Not yet. You got to keep on rolling
Oh,
for
I thought he
just a
was
minute.
ready.
I'm trying to get some things together. I got some special music today. I got some. You know how we do it. You know how we do it. I got some special music today, but my wife gonna keep on
Okay.
talking
All right. So
just for a little bit longer.
what I'm gonna talk about this morning, fam. Yes, Assalamu alaikum and Ramadan Mubarak, you all. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're gonna talk about the product of the week. We actually have a couple of products of the week. You all already know about the Paximune. The Paximune. We are Paxers, not Vaxers.
Go ahead.
So we don't get vaccinated over here. We Pax. And Dr. Aline Muhammad is the lead on the Paximune. It is a dietary supplement that helps boost the immune system. And what we understand during this pandemic is that your immune system is vital. Your body can fight off the coronavirus. It can prevent it from ever taking over the body, but we have to build up our immune system. And we know that the food is insufficient to give us everything that we need. So sometimes we need that extra. And we know that the Paximune is Amen.
All right, family. All right. Sorry, you know how it is.
They tried to cut us off.
You know how it is sometimes. You know how it is. So just bear with us for a minute trying to get some things together. Pray that we don't have no more technical difficulties.
So where we left off was, if you're still with us, praying that you are, um, where we left off, fam, is the Paximune. Okay, so yeah, I know, brother. Thank you, brother Galvin. Um, all praises due to Allah. Back on track. So the Paximune, fam. If you have any questions about the Paximune, definitely put it in the chat, and we will do our best to answer it. We've been taking the Paximune for the last 2 weeks, and for those who know, I deal with different health challenges, and the Paximune is helping me. It is helping build my immune system. Not a sniffle, not a sniff. Um, Man, it's just working wonderful and I know it's building up my immune system because all of my other, um, when I run my labs and things like that, those numbers are increasing and getting better. And as I do, my dialysis, the blood is cleaner. So Allah is working His magic in us, and I know that He will continue to work His magic in you all as well. So just give me a second, fam. I don't know. It just was crazy this morning with getting everything situated. We did prepare, but sometimes things happen. All right, so Paximune, right? Y'all got it? Questions? Definitely let me know. The next product of the month, family, you have got to go to, is it on Etsy already? Sister's Pictures?
Yes, I'm gonna show
Okay.
it. I'm gonna show it.
Okay. So I'm going to talk about it a little bit and then he's going to show it. Okay. We'll probably run the beautiful commercial that my husband created. But our beloved Sister Charlene Muhammad, out of Macon, Georgia, she has now um, been working with us to create Ramadan pictures. She drew some beautiful and painted some beautiful pictures for us to hang in our homes. One of the things that we don't have enough of is our celebration around our homes for Ramadan, and to have something to reflect us as Muslims. And you will see in the commercial that she has done just that. And our next product of the month, we're featuring a couple of people. That is Sister Charlene Muhammad out of
Sadiqa.
Sadiqa. Oh, thank you. Got to give my sister, especially in the month of Ramadan, appreciate her holy and righteous name. So, Sister Sadiqa, her drawings are very beautiful and it is so reflective of Ramadan. And we are looking forward to that. It will be printed on canvas for you so that you may have something in your home as well for Ramadan.
Give me a second so I pull up that, pull it up so you can actually see it.
Okay. He's still working his magic.
Forgive your brother.
All right. There we go. We working now. And then we have one more other featured um, person, and it's the my sister is called Queenly Raps, right? So she hanging out with the Queen of Rap. But what my sister is doing is she has created and handcrafted these beautiful, beautiful, beautiful crochet shawls. And I mean, she's got one. It's like this butterfly that just opens up and flow. It's nice and light. That it is something that can be worn, in the summer, in the evenings when it's just a little. The temperatures drop just a little bit, and you want to accent the beauty that you already are rocking. Yes, those are going to be available on Nafiza Ali on the Etsy page. So we are featuring more and more Black artists. Mind Spark Creation, let the spark in your mind create a new reality. Part of what we do is encourage those brothers and sisters in our community to go into business, to create something. Not sure who said this, but the fastest way to be broke is not have a product.
That's right.
So we have to engage in something to increase our income because we know our enemy says that if we don't get vaccinated, they're not going to let us work. They're not going to let us go into the travel. There's so many things that they're going to not let us do. It's only going to be for a short period of time because Allah is working his kingdom, right? But the devil got to do what the devil got to do. He got to prove who he is.
That's right.
The minister has been exposing him, but now he's got to come out of his hiding place. And if we are wise, we see exactly what is going on and what he is doing. So we thank Allah for the minister opening up our eyes, being the Jesus in our midst today, allowing us to see things more clearly through the words that he shared with us, allowing us to hear what it is that need to be heard, right, fam? So you all see my beautiful sister, Sister Sadika, beautiful MGT. And let me know when you're ready.
I am ready.
All right, so
Yeah.
Sister Nafisa gonna sit back for a minute and listen to the beautiful words of Sister Sadiq.
All right. We hope y'all enjoy this.
My name is Sadiqa Muhammad. I've been blessed with an opportunity to literally press the reset button for my life. And it's just in time for the Muslim reset or Ramadan. I didn't have any Ramadan decorations for my home, and I haven't seen any that represent the MGT. So, the black man and woman are gods. And what do gods do? They create.
That's right.
So join me in pressing the reset button with this beautiful MGT on your wall, reminding you of this blessed Ramadan. My name is Sidima.
All right, family. So as you see, you can pick that piece up right now on Etsy.com.
And what are those 16 by 24s or 24 by
16
16?
by 20.
16 by 20.
Yeah, you can pick those up on our Etsy store.
Yes.
So if you want something like that for your home, then definitely go right on over and purchase yours. These are originals.
Yes.
These are originals, and you can actually, like we said, go on over there right now. You can go over there right now if you choose to, and actually get something for you. I mean, get that beautiful picture for your Ramadan.
Yes.
Well, family, I can't get to that song because I'm having a problem with my other computer over here. So, but we can't not allow you to have some
No
theme
music. Come
music, right?
on,
You
right?
already know that. It's early in the morning around here. Well, at least for us, it's not early for everybody, but it's early in the morning.
Let her out back.
Yeah, it's early in the morning around here. So we gonna get y'all some theme music on. All right, after this application stop bouncing for whatever reason. My computer just wanna run slow today, y'all. So forgive me. I'm gonna try to cut a few things off, and then that should help it run
Are
a
we
little.
running our other product or not, Commercial?
Which one? Oh yes, oh yes.
Oh,
We
that's
got
gonna be a surprise.
we got
Surprise.
we gonna come back with that. We got one more product of the month. I'm glad my wife reminded me. Come on.
I think it's so ironic that on so many of the Muslim platforms, we're having technical difficulties, right? And we got to know that the truth is a difficult pill to swallow for a lot of people. And it's definitely a difficult pill for our open enemy, because we try to bring you, the Muslims. I'm not just Muslims, but that's my community. So I see a lot of what's going on in the community, and it's always some type of technical difficulty, a glitch going on in the system. People being kicked off of Facebook, Instagram, being put off. So we have to get it in as much as we can, fam,
That's
and
right.
support each other the best we can
That's right.
while we can, because there is coming a day where there's going to be darkness,
That's right.
and we want to bring you the light so that you can have something to hold on to in the
Right. We want to
darkness.
be our nur. That's right. We want to be the light.
Yes, the best we
We want to
can.
be the light, the best that we can be.
Yes.
I'm trying to pull up this song, family, again.
Excuse
Excuse my technical difficulties
me.
around here.
It's just part of the
It's
party.
just part of the party. So for those of you who are considering doing vlogging, these are the things that you would have to endure. These are some of the things that sometimes just stuff not gonna work. But the reality of the matter is you just gotta keep on going. You
Right.
just gotta keep on flowing. You can't let nothing stop you. You gotta explain to your audience what's going on and then keep it moving from there. So that's what we doing. That's what we're doing. This is live in the field right here. This is live in the field. So
All right. Look
I
like we
had
got
a
some motion here. What are we playing today?
I had something especially designed for Ramadan. So God willing, I had that ready for the next show. But right now, we gonna rock this. Come on. Come on. Ramadan Mubarak, right?
That's right.
Come on. Oh yeah.
All
Oh
right.
yeah. Oh yeah. We had to get y'all waking up this morning.
That's
We had to
right.
wake y'all up this morning.
That was beautiful.
Okay, we got one more commercial for you. Then we gonna jump on in to our show, into what we here to talk about. We got one more for you.
We got a real serious topic that we're going to talk about.
All right.
Like as a Muslim.
don't cheat them yet.
All right, full screen on that.
All right, family, we gonna share this screen one more time so you all can see this beautiful product of the day. All right.
Alaikum. As a Muslim woman, mother, and grandmother, seeing our future recite the prayer in English and Arabic is a phenomenal experience. Seeing a father or grandfather bond with young Muslim children is priceless. This interactive book called The First Day I Prayed has allowed us these experiences with the Arabic and English transliteration right here, along with colorful pictures, including how to wash for prayer, the position of prayer, combined with the truly wonderful story of a child leading Salat with their family for the first time. So not only will your child be able to connect with another child their age who has learned to perform the prayer, they will learn to lead as well. Look no further, family. The First Day I Prayed is just that book. This book is beautifully illustrated. It tells the story of my son, Jami Muhammad, an 8-year-old Muslim child who was gifted with being able to lead Salatu al Fajr, or the dawn prayer, and what they experienced the first day he led the prayer. The love of Allah, prayer, and family come bursting through the pages of this book. So come, journey with us and experience the first day I prayed. Our book is available in digital or physical copies. Just click the link below www.etsy.com/shop/Nafiza Ali. Thank you, family. Have a wonderful day. Assalamu alaikum.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Great job.
All praises due to Allah.
Great
So
job.
if you're looking for a Ramadan gift for your children, we highly recommend that book. We don't recommend it because it's by us. We recommend it because it's good. You know, we recommend it because it is good. And of course, I wrote that story when my son was 8 years old. Um, you know, and he's 21 now.
Yeah.
But he's 21 now. But all praises due to Allah. It's still a beautiful, beautiful story. And you can actually pick it up on our Etsy store. If you want to get the physical copy, if you want the digital copy, you can pick that up on Amazon. You can pick that up on Amazon. Just go to Amazon, type in The First Day I Prayed, and you'll actually be able to get that book. Okay?
Yes.
All right, family. Well, we're gonna get busy right now. We're gonna get busy right now, and we're gonna show you where our topic today actually came from. Where our topic today actually came from. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
It came from Love and Final Call newspaper. And if you are not a subscriber, we ask that you would become one, digitally as well as physically. I like to carry mine around digitally so I can have it on all my connected devices. But I also like the physical copy, and my wife loves the physical copy.
I have to touch my
But
paper.
she loves to touch it. We know that the current edition is dealing with our dear brother DMX, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, has put some words in there about our dear brother. A beautiful paper. If you don't have it, see the Muslims in your community. Adopt you a Muslim so they can get that paper to you.
Right.
But if you don't know any Muslims, go ahead and contact us and we'll get it to you. Okay, we'll get it to you. Now, one of the things we're gonna do, see this right here is very important. It says, "Is where you live killing you?" in America is not only supposed to be illegal, but it is also impacts how you live. Blacks suffer health problems, exposure to environmental hazards, and lack of access to healthy food and healthy spaces because of where they are forced to live.
Right.
All right?
And we know
We're
about
gonna
forced to
yeah,
live.
we know about forced to live. We're gonna just touch on that for a minute, you know. And if you already know that if you quote unquote don't have the right credit score, you can have all the money in the bank. You can have all the money in the bank. And a lot of times you are still denied because of just what we just read, because of discrimination. You know, some of us make a nice amount of money per month, and we should deserve to live wherever our money will allow us to live. But that's not always the case. We've had instances right here in Arizona where we called and a lady told us they weren't doing any renting out any apartments. I turned around and look on the realtor.com and I actually find that they were renting out apartments right there. No, I didn't pursue it. We found something else. But I'm not the only one, and we're not the only ones that experienced that. And this is part of why we decided, but more than that, I'm going to just share this before we actually get into the article itself. Um, how many of you all remember, if you from Chicago, in the late 90s, early 2000s, the man flux of people that knew how to clean asbestos? How many people remember that? If you remember that, go ahead, type in the chat. If you remember that, about when, because my auntie and my cousin and them actually trained. They actually trained to learn how to, to learn how to clean asbestos. The asbestos came from the paints and things that were being used. And
no, it's the material in the
the
wall.
material in the wall. Okay,
right.
That's right.
Because there was a lead issue too, but
that's right.
The asbestos was the material that they built. The drywall was made. Yeah.
Yes. So this is what I'm saying. Using inferior products. Using. Oh, you remember that? You remember that in Detroit, Brother Roosevelt? Okay. So they were doing it there too, but primarily a lot of that was in our communities. A lot of that was in our communities that got ill affected like that. This is why, you know, it's important for us to know these things. It was lead poison that was going around at that time as well. High levels of lead because of the paint, and then we know later on it took a change, right? We know it took a change, and then they stopped allowing them to use lead paint. But mind you, lead, I'm going to say this again, lead makes a person sterile. If your desire is the depopulation of a people, these are things that you may do. These are things that you would do. These are things that you would do in order to stop the population growth. Remember now, Moses and Pharaoh was in fear that of the population growth of the children of Israel. Moses was in fear of the population growth of the children of Israel, and they made a blatant attack. They made an attack on the children of Israel, and since we are the fulfillment of that, then that attack is really talking about us, okay? So if you didn't realize that you was in the book, I'm here to tell you that you are. All right. So we're gonna actually go ahead. We're gonna jump into this. I want you all to see this picture. You all see that hole in the wall? You see the brother still living right there. A lot of us have lived in projects and whatnot, and the people didn't come, right, to fix stuff. They didn't do things. You had all kind of stuff going on in your house. I remember my cousin lived in East Chicago Heights, and they would turn the water on, and the water would literally run brown.
Oh, gross.
The water would literally run brown, and it had the eggy smell to it, which we know now is sulfur. So the water was poisonous in our community. Even then, I was a young boy then, and I still remember that.
Right.
So the article starts, it says, death by zip code, housing discrimination, neighborhood contamination, and black life.
Okay.
You know, so for those of you all who don't subscribe to the final call, this is one of the reasons that you need to subscribe, because these are things that's not being covered by the mass media. These are things that's not. Now, this was just March the 16th that this article was out, so this is not that old, okay? All right, so we're going to jump in.
In the final call, there is no such thing as old news.
Come on now. All right. It said this is by our sister Anisa Muhammad. And 5 years ago, Freddie Gray, a young black man in Baltimore, was arrested for allegedly possessing a knife. A few days later, he died from injury to his spinal cord sustained during his arrest and transfer. Police brutality and misconduct are not the only dangers to black life. As a boy, Freddie Gray lived in extreme poverty and thus was exposed to significant amounts of lead. According to a recent University of Georgia report on racism and the contamination of black lives, published in the Journal of African American Studies in 2008, Freddie Gray's family filed a lawsuit against the landlord after he and his siblings showed that they had significant blood levels of lead. Significant blood levels of lead. He lived in a community saturated with underfunded schools and food deserts. Gray lived in a community where he was slowly being poisoned by lead during his development years, and his parents never got the help they needed despite the documented evidence of lead poisoning. The reports say Gray is not an outliner. He is an all too familiar example of the black experience in the United States. The studies found that environmental racism and exclusionary housing policies and practices such as redlining created health problems in black communities. The writer breaks down the definition of racism and its different levels. Racism can manifest through stereotypes, prejudice, prejudicial beliefs, or discrimination, it says. Specifically, it defines environmental racism as a form of structural racism. Structural racism is the policies and practice that normalize and legalize racism in a way that creates differential access to goods, services, and opportunities based on race. The report says environmental racism refers to policies, practices, or directives that result in advantage or disadvantage to individuals or community based on race. Furthermore, environmental racism includes harm caused by infrastructure that determines access and quality of resources and services. To understand environmental racism in the United States, we must discuss the nation's history of housing policy and the way they have impacted black people. The report said those policies include zoning ordinances, restrictive covenant, block busting, steering, and redlining. It defines redlining as a practice used by the Federal Housing Authority to outline black neighborhoods with red, making them ineligible for federally insured loans, according to rating systems used by the Homeowners Loan Corporation. Angela McIver, Chief Executive Officer of the Fair Housing Rights Center in Southeast Pennsylvania, looked at every redlining map in the United States because she wanted to understand why black people suffer so much in their community. Why are the social disparities so present among us? And the
Mm.
deeper I dig into redlining, the more I see that in a large part from the 20th century into the 21st century, therein lie the problem, she said. And looking at all of those redlining maps, they have commonalities when it comes to red section. Oftentimes, they're referred to as risky, hazardous, or dangerous.
Mm.
So we're going to go on now. Y'all have to forgive me. I'm turning the physical page.
That's a good thing.
If I had the digital
Don't it feel
copy,
good?
if I had the digital copy, I could just keep reading. But y'all have to forgive me.
No, no forgiveness necessary, son, honey. I think it's a good thing to be able to turn a page.
All right, we're going on. Okay. All right. Language that associates us as a people, not as a status of our properties, but as a human being, she said. She said the legacy and practice of redlining is alive and well, and that historically black people, Jews, and Latinos were subject to it. HOLC maps use a color coded system where green meant the neighborhood was best, blue was the next best, and yellow was declining, and then there was red. Today, if you take that 1937 redlining map of Philadelphia, you overlay that on the map that highlights all of the disparities, wealth gaps, the education gap, health disparities, economic access to resources, you will find that hardly anything changed. From that 1937 map, Miss MacIver said, she said redlining still exists.
Mm.
But instead of physical maps being colored green or red, it is done by zip code, neighborhood, algorithms, and IP addresses, where you sit from your home to attempt to do digital transactions. You're being watched. They know exactly where your IP address is. An advertisement or the lack of will or will not come to you because of that. She said your zip code, when you put that into certain electronic platforms, will steer you toward or away from things. It is very widespread nowadays. So it went from being more low tech to high tech now. Ms. McIvers explained that people are placed at risk because of zip code. If we look at one of my favorite zip codes to highlight in Philadelphia, because it is the heart of the redlining section, which is 19132, and you examine all the social detriments for 19132, it's not because they're bad people living in that zip code. It's because systematically over time, people have received fully all, people have not received fully all that they need, she said. She said redlining is an accumulation of things that happened in the past that haven't been undone. Where was the redress for that? We got a check making them whole. Who got a check making them whole from that? It didn't happen. But yet people will shake their finger at folks who live in these neighborhoods and present the argument as if this is all on you. She said, and that's not the case. The issue is that for the most part, we're decent, kind people who are seeking peace and justice. We haven't revolted about all of this. While J.R. Fleming's co-founder and executive director of the Chicago Anti-Venture Campaign expounded on the idea of death by zip code, he said most of the zip codes that fall under the phrase are black communities. I say there's a lack of public services in the community. There's a lack of educational institutions in that community. There are lack of health facilities in the community. When I hear death by zip code, it makes me think about the food desert. He said, according to 2014 research from Johns Hopkins, racial health disparities could be due to difference in physical and social environments, including access to healthy food. Mr. Fleming called Chicago's efforts one of the biggest overhauls of public housing in the country, and it forced black people into other communities. One of the impacts of tearing down public housing in the country was we didn't get rid of property, he said. We just relocated. We displaced property. He said housing discrimination means Section 8 housing choice vouchers being under underutilized, and he explained that housing discrimination is rooted in American policy and that it's not simply a housing crisis. There's a human rights crisis in America. This is
Mm-hmm.
not displacement. This is urban and economic cleansing, he said. When we talk about housing discrimination, we talk about the ability for first time homeowners to access loans and lenders who will lend to them. And that's when the terminology redlining come in, he said. So we talk about discrimination on one aspect that you can't get a loan to buy a home. And then we talk about the aspect of not being able to of not being able to only get a loan, but not being able to get a loan in a particular community that's not African American. He said housing discrimination not only applies to blacks and Latino residents, but black developers who want to develop affordable housing are also discriminated and redlined against. In the University of Georgia report, the writers highlight three specific events to show the contamination of black lives. Toxic wells in Dixon County, Tennessee, coal plant in North Birmingham, Alabama, a water crisis in Flint, Michigan. Latinos in the south side of Chicago are facing their own crisis. It started with a metal shredding company that was accused of violating air pollution
Mm.
and nuisance laws, moved operation from a majority white and affluent neighborhood to the Latino majority southeast neighborhood. Activists are undergoing a hunger strike to protest the relocation. If they're removing that industry in order to revitalize the community, what does it do to the community you put it in? That means that community does not experience that revitalization. That community is going to suffer the health impact that industry creates. And it also affects property values, said Susie Salazar, director of the Southeast Environmental Task Force. We
Mm.
become victims, she said, and also in some ways it becomes normal because that's what they do over and over again. So we kind of start to begin to normalize it. Ms. Salazar said land use and zoning policies need to be changed and community investment need to take place. We want some revitalization and investment here, not dumping things that other parts of the city don't want, she said. Mr. Fleming explained that all levels of government need to take the Fair Housing Act seriously. That's that that there has to be equal protection under the law and that there has to be a greater penalty for housing discrimination. Ms. McIver said there needs to be a full commitment to right the wrongs of the past to address the needs of the people. We're talking about man-made situations that have been superimposed on people who, again, for the most part, are kind and decent and loving, and who have not revolted from this, but who are patient and waiting on what they believe are other decent human beings with the stroke of a pen or provisions help to change these outcomes for them, she said. So
Mm.
now look at this. I want us to think about this now. Now we used to live in Georgia, and we went. I can't remember where it was, but after slavery, this was the first black neighborhood that was set aside for black people. Okay, this is the first black neighborhood that was a set aside for black people. So not only did we come out of slavery and, you know, of course, you dealing back then without your ability to get a loan, without your ability to get access to resources and whatnot. You're dealing with back then coming out of slavery, and then they deem you to go over here to this area, you know, which of course, as they said about the redlining, they already putting the best part in their hands and putting you in the worst part.
Right.
They're putting you in the worst part, and they're putting themselves on the best part of that landscape. So when they feel, right, that where they live is no longer the best part anymore, that's when regentrification comes in. Then they come in, and now they want to take over your neighborhood. So I stayed, I'm going to pass it over after this. I stayed on the west side of Chicago. And the west side of Chicago was considered the worst part of the city, and it was all the crime and all of that. And if you know people from Chicago that live on the, you know, in Hyde Park and live in Oak Park and all these other places, they say, man, I'm not going over near Pulaski and all of that. You know, I'm not going over there by Orr High School and places like that. I'm not going to go over there because it's too dangerous over there. That's what they said. But guess what? Before I left high school, I looked at them build a home across the street from Orr High School for $600,000. Do you hear that? $600,000. The regentrification had began. Few years later, we moved out, moved to Georgia. We come back. We rolling down Lake Street. Lake Street used to be the place where you go get your meats and all of those kind of things, kind of industrial area. They have taken those buildings and turned them into condos and lofts and homes, multi-million-dollar homes. So now when you go down Lake Street, leads you right into downtown. And where we was probably 15 minutes from downtown. So now you got a bunch of white folk that then moved in into the neighborhoods where we live. We all know about this regentrification. I'm just bringing it up from a Chicago standpoint because that's where we witnessed it at. That's where we witnessed it at. Okay? So with that family, and then on top of that, as you said, now you redline out of all of these things. You got people making policies to keep stuff away from you. This is why, again, you need the final call. Not because I'm saying so, but where have you read anything like this before? Have you read it in the Sun Times? Have you read it in the New York Times? Have you read it in the Tribune? Have you read it in any other the Washington Post? No, you haven't.
Right,
No, you
because they're
haven't.
not going to share that information, you know, so that we know what's actually going on in our community.
That's right.
You know, but it makes me think about the words of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan when he said we have to make our own communities a decent place to live.
Yes.
You know, and so the things that we see when gentrification starts happening, we see the improvement of our communities. Well, what about when we start improving our communities? You know, when we take the time and the energy and the money, our resources to help one another improve the community. One thing about my husband and my son, I'm always, I have to keep hand sanitizer because if they see some garbage on the ground, they're gonna pick it up. If they see a bottle, they're gonna pick it up, and to me, it's like germs. But they're absolutely right because we have to keep our communities clean. When we see these abandoned buildings, which is a hazard, not just for our health, but when you think about your little girls and your little boys walking past these abandoned buildings, how many times have children been pulled into abandoned buildings and assaulted? So we need to take these abandoned buildings, put the money, either tear them down and build a garden, or fix these houses up, and make them livable for ourselves and our family. By the block. Those are there's some brothers. Are they in Detroit?
Yeah, all over.
I think they started in Detroit,
Yeah.
and it's called By the Block. Where the brothers and sisters are coming together, and we're seeing more and more, of this happening, family, where we are uniting and pulling our resources and buying land, right? Let's buy up our communities. Let's make our communities clean. It's okay to go door to door, and let your neighbors know, different things that they can do. The MGT, under the leadership of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, created a book on how to keep house, and it's or how to clean. I have to look at the exact title,
Right, right.
but it is an excellent book, and we have it available for free. Minister Farrakhan wanted it to be free to everybody in our community. So not only did we give the digital copies away, but we actually printed. I'm not going to give the number because I'm not absolutely sure, but we printed, I think it was 10,000. But we printed these books, and the FOI handed them out in our community because we got to know how to keep it clean. I think a lot of things can be changed, even when the landlord won't come and take care of your business and take care of your apartment or the unit that you're living in. Then we have to do it. You can't sit around and say, well, they just won't do it. No, we have to take that extra effort because we have a right to live in a decent place.
Right.
We have a right to be comfortable. There's no reason we should be living in filth and squalor. We can't even elevate our minds living in those types of conditions. And it is a reality. And that's why the article had to be written so that it can be brought to our attention. And then at this point, we have to say, what are we going to do about this circumstance?
Right.
What are we going to do? We have to solve the problem. We can't just allow this to continue in our community. If you go over to Auntie Betty house and you see Auntie Betty got a hole in her wall and you know how to do plaster, then why not say, Auntie Betty, I'm coming over on Saturday and I'm going to fix that hole for you. She don't have to wait on a landlord. She got you. We have each other, family. Let's love each other more. We talked last week about doing good deeds, and this is the month of Ramadan, and it is the time that we can increase the amount of good deeds that we do for one another. So, the weather is getting warmer all over the country for the most part. So, for those places that had tornadoes, and go out and clean because now we know it's a bunch of garbage around. Have a day of cleaning. When was the last time we did a day of cleaning in our community? I remember when we were in Macon, Georgia, and we had our business, and we collaborated with what was the name of the organization?
It was a church.
It was something for change.
Right.
It's a church organization. I can't remember the name of it right
The Salam, what was it with
That was
Mama
our
and
zone.
Zinga?
We was in the Salam zone.
now.
What-
Shalom Zone.
We were in the Shalom zone, but it was several different. Every community had, this group of conscious people that did things in the community. Anyway, what we did was we had a cleaning day, and then people met up at the store from the college. They got the college students involved, and we went throughout the community with garbage bags. People donated, garbage bags and gloves and things like that, so that we could clean up the community. And it was so beautiful because it was people from all walks of life that was there that clean. So it's not that you have to do it on your own. You can just clean your block up, but you can make it a real effort and call out everybody in the community. For one, let's get to know each other a little bit better, and I have to come outside of my comfort zone as well. We just moved into a new community, and nobody want to talk to nobody no more. I mean, you walk past and don't even speak um to one another. So, we just got to start breaking some barriers, because as things move forward in the world, as changes continue to happen, our enemy means it for evil, but God means for good. However, change is happening, and we're going to have to depend and lean on those that are around us. So we have to make our homes and make our communities a decent place to live. And I truly believe that. Did you want to share some things, son? Not yet.
Nah, I was gonna say. I mean, because I know near the end soon.
It's
So,
okay. We got time for you.
something like from everybody. Well, they said a lot. I mean, I said basically every point that I wanted to say. However, what I would like to add is, like she was saying, collaborate, and try to meet with our people, wherever you're at. Because like at Tucson, we're only 4%, and I see, some of our people when they meet us, it's fine. They're like, oh, hey, how you doing? But some is like they just look at do this, and I'm like, why? Because not like you see them, but like we have to love each other more. And I was just another thing to protect our communities, because I know they've been doing a lot of the killings lately and stuff with of us. So like definitely to the best of your ability, be in groups. Try to be out if you're gonna do some things. Try to be out during the day, to the best of your ability, unless you're working a job or you have something really important to do. Try not to be out at night, because that's when they really get crazy at night. Um, and like I said, just try to stay together and stay around each other,
Mm,
because then you have more of a chance of them not, trying to do anything. It's not guaranteed, but it's a
right.
higher
But you're
chance.
not isolated.
Right, you're not isolated.
Right.
Um, and we really have to protect our communities more like that, and get the cops out of our communities by saying, we have to stop killing each other and get them out, and then start policing our own communities. And then that'll definitely reduce the amount of death that's happening as well.
Yeah.
But the first step is, because my mom's already said part of it is, we have the study guides, self improvement, the basis for community development. So first, you have to really love yourself and improve on yourself,
Absolutely.
and that definitely starts getting closer to Allah, God, whatever name you call them. And then it means to act too,
Mm,
like because that's the thing. Like we pray, but you got to act too. You can't just pray.
right.
Um, and then you have to also make a list of things that you want to do, positive. Write them down, check them off as you complete them. Um, and then like keep promises to yourself, and then you'll be able to keep promises to other people.
Right.
It don't mean that you won't be able to keep your promise all the time, because there's things that happen in life.
Mm,
But to the best of your ability, strive to keep your promise. Or if you didn't, go back, say I apologize. Um, and that's one way to help resolve conflict. Do conflict resolution.
that's true. And that's
To
important, in making our communities a decent place to live. I didn't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to add that if
Oh
you wanted
yeah,
to.
yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
Mhm.
because that really is. Because I remember one time we were in, Fort Valley, and then a brother said we saved him his life because he was getting ready to, unfortunately, kill himself. And then
Mm,
we talked to him, and he didn't do it. By
praise
Allah's
be to
grace and
Allah.
mercy, praise be to Allah.
Yes, sir.
And that's why we need more of those. And we do, me included, have to get out of our comfort zone. Like I understand that we have trust issues and etc. But you have to be able to overcome those and analyze people for who they really are,
Mm,
because that's what God does, every day. And I mean, you're gonna be perfect at it. Don't expect to be perfect at it overnight, but your best to analyze people, and feel their energy, feel how they are, um, and then Allah reveal it to you over time.
yes, sir.
All
Praise be to Allah. Thank you. And my last thought on this, and let
Yeah.
my husband close out. Um, we have a responsibility to ourselves. And when we talk about death by zip codes and how they tunnel us and funnel us into certain areas, like my husband was saying earlier, you can have all the money, you can have a lot of money, good income coming in. But if your credit is not as they want it to be, then they can say, no, you can't live here. No, you can't live there. No, you have to go to these areas, and it can be mentally depressing, when you want more, but you're getting less. Don't stop there. Keep pushing forward. Do what I love about Brother Ben, Brother Jake, and the BWO and all what the ABS, tribe do is that they push us all to be debt free and making money, right? Real money. The brother said last night, he said it's a shift in currency, well, in wealth, shift in wealth. This is the biggest wealth shift, where now we all can make some money, where we could just say, hey, I'm going to buy this house in this community with cash, debt free. I don't need your credit. I'm just going to buy it. Did you know in other countries they don't even deal with credit? You could either got the money or you don't. You could pay 6 months up front or you don't, you know, and that's what it is based on. So, we got to get ourselves out of that poverty mind as well, and I'll say this: if you're on Social Security, if you're receiving food stamps, if you're receiving TAFTA, unemployment, any of these things, do not limit yourself and say, I can't make no money because they're going to kick me off. No, you make the money so you can get off. Right. So you got to change your mind. You can't say I'm getting this $1,000 a month and this is all I get. You can make so much more than that. The brother said he made $10,000 in one day. One day, $10,000. Right. So when we shift our minds and elevate to a higher level, no, we don't. Money ain't everything. No, it's not everything, but money can make things a little bit easier for you, allow you an opportunity for your children to be more free, where you're not, clocking in. Um, all praises due to Allah. You're not clocking in 12 to 16 hours a day and have no time for your children. No, we got to find a way to be smarter, making our money so we have more time with our children to help them develop into the gods that they are. That's right. Right? We have to be able to do that for our future family. We got to really see that we are at war. This is real, and we are the solution to our problem. We are the solution. We have to have that mind shift. We have to change. Ramadan is a perfect opportunity for us to reset, as Sister Sadiqa said. This is time. This is a reset button for us. Shift our mind. If you are not, you don't know how to make money outside of your open enemy. If you work in a hospital and they tell you, you're going to have to take this shot or you can't keep working here, then you already need to be thinking how I'm going to survive without this. You can't sit around and say, well, I got to have a job. No, you don't need that job. That job needs you. God gifted you. He's given you everything you need to be able to provide for yourself. And that's what we have to work on. Is it going to happen overnight? Probably not. But that don't mean you don't work on it. That don't mean that you don't get together with other men and women who are striving to free themselves up. We have to change our environment. That poverty mind got to go, because we're not going to allow anyone to continue to tell us where and when we can live someplace or what we can do where we live. No, we're going to start opening this thing up, fam. It's land. America is for sale. We can buy some land. A brother in Georgia just said he got blessed with 100 acres of land, and the people said, we don't want just anybody to come and develop this. We want God-minded people to come and develop this. So he's asking 100 people who want to live a righteous life and create a righteous environment and do things properly. The land is for residential, it's for agriculture, and it was for something else. I can't what industrial, but it's enough land, fam, that some things can happen. If you live in Georgia, you want more information, hit me up and I'll give you the brothers information. But we got to change our minds and take control. We're not victims. We don't have to be victims. We are victims. We don't have to continue to be victims. We can be victorious. And that's what we have to know.
Family, just two more points real fast. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, the ghetto is not a place. He said that the ghetto is a state of mind.
That's right.
He said, because you can clean up the places and beautify them. But how many of us have went and watched people throw chicken on the ground? How many of us have went and watched people throw food and pizza boxes out of the window? So and a drive or literally bypass a garbage can, right? So that they can throw it on the street. Well, that's a person that's not vested in their community. That's a person that doesn't feel like they have ownership, and they don't care about where they live. They don't care about where they live. Yes, they need to be resurrected. Yes, they need to be taught. But family, that goes to prove that the ghetto is not a place. The ghetto is a state of mind, because you can actually go and rebuild it the same way that they doing right now.
Exactly.
What are they doing now? It's called regentrification. They're rebuilding the hood. They're rebuilding where we are from, where many of us grew up at. They're rebuilding it to show you what? That the ghetto is not a place. The ghetto is a state of mind. And we, as my wife said, we have to come out of that ghetto mentality. We have to come out of that ghetto mentality. I wrote a song. I'm going to just share some of it. It goes, and your brother, I hope I'm going to sing just a little bit of it. Just a part of the verse, okay? And no, I'm not trying to be Luther. I'm trying to be me. So I want you all to hear this, And this song is called Ghetto Mind. That's what the name of the song is.
We sang it in Belize.
We sang it in Belize. It goes a little like this. It says, hey, hey, living that ghetto life. Hey, hey, I say, it just ain't right. Hey, hey, every day somebody gets smoked. What's going on? Every day somebody turn their light to dope. Hey, brother man, he's the author of this plan. To kill up as many brothers and sisters as you possibly can, to steal and rob, and do that coke. Yo, what the hell wrong with you, huh? Who told you to do that nasty dope, I wanna know who gave you that ghetto mind, I wanna know I wanna know who keep you mentally and spiritually blind, Had me a faker and a shaker with a master plan. A beast and a demon, master of destruction. As a thief in the night is how we came. Stole all your goods, even stole your brain. Now he got ya, living that ghetto life, The point of the song is it is a mentality and it is not a place. The point of the song is the things that we do in that state of mind. It had to be a faker and a shaker with a master plan, a beast and a demon, the master of destruction, not just outside of self, but inside of self too. As a thief in the night is how he came. Stole all your goods, even stole your brain. See that? He even stole your proper mind from you.
Right.
See, that is the song. So the ghetto is not a place. The ghetto is the state of mind.
Right.
Now, this the last thing I'm going to say is this. We used to say, because we used to do a blog talk radio show a couple of years back. We used to do a blog talk radio show when we lived in Atlanta. And one of the things that I would say quite often is I want to show you how easy it is to change your reality. I'm paraphrasing now. I want to show you how easy it is to change your reality. Now, we know that it takes 40 people to make a mosque, right? It takes 40 believers to build a mosque. Just say that represents 40 families. Just say that represents 40 families, right? Now, on average, you paying at least $700 a month. $700 a month. Somebody got a calculator?
Got a calculator.
Yeah. Somebody. So I want you to do right. Okay. $40 times 700 is $2,800. No, it's more than that. 28,000.
Sorry. Wait a minute. How much money?
40
believers
times $700.
$28,000.
That's $28,000 per month. That's $28,000 per month. If we had an investment group, you can put a down payment on the apartment building for $28,000. Right. You can put a down payment on the apartment building for $28,000. And a lot of us know that what I said, that sounds crazy. Some of us paying $1,000 a month. Right. Calculate that.
Yeah, well, that's $40,000.
That's 40,000. No, that's more than that.
No, that's
right. Okay, so that's $40,000. That's $40,000 a month that we're paying out for the most part to everybody else other than ourselves. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that our disunity is what hurts us. We're not broke. We're just divided. If we all put a little bit in, we can get a lot. I'm just talking about 40 people. We ain't talking about the whole 50 plus million of us. So it's just if you put 50 million times $100, that's $50 million. What can you do? What can you invest in with that? Right?
Right. I think we just have to really make a conscious decision that we're going to change our condition.
We have to make a conscious decision and stop being on our island.
Right.
Stop being on our island. Well, I made it, you didn't. Yeah, you should have made it like me. You should have done all the things I done. But a lot of people, this is how many of us are. We get a knowledge about something. We get a knowledge on how to flip houses. We get a knowledge on how to do the stock market. We get a knowledge on how to do a bunch of different things. And we feel like we got to hold that to ourselves because that's my only vantage point. So if I share that, then that's the only thing that make me special and make me stand out. If I share it, it's going to harm me. Where in reality, it's going to help others. And it's going to help you because if you told it and help others to do it, how much better off could their life be?
You know what the minister said?
Go ahead.
He said when Barack Obama was running for president at the time, he said that the community is measured by the least of us, not by the best of us.
Right.
You know, so if we don't pull us up out of the condition that we're in, and you know, we just be like, oh, that's them.
Right.
Them young folks, and those are the people that's gonna be marrying your children.
That's right.
You know, those are the people that, you know, and I used to tell my nieces and nephews, you know, I need you to be great because my future depends on you.
Right.
You know, and we have to understand that we depend on one another. You know, how we live, the conditions we live in. So that's why we have to help bring each other up and not tear each other down. Brother last night said something else, and we're going to go because y'all know we overtime as always. But he was saying, you know, you always hear that story about the crabs in the barrel, you know, we pulling each other down. He said, no, we pulling each other up out that barrel. You know, we pull one by one, we pulling each other up out of the horrible conditions that we find ourselves in. So when we look at that article, Death by Zip Code, we have to think of the solution, family. You know, we know the problem and we know the condition that so many of our people live in. What are we going to do to pull ourselves out of these conditions as the world gets worse?
Right.
As the wicked, evil world that we currently live in come to an end and a close, and the kingdom of God comes up, there's a struggle there.
Right.
There's a difficulty factor that we have to, it's a threshold we have to go through. And Brother Galvin said it a couple of times, transfiguration in the mind, you know, and that's where we have to be. We have to, you know, really go into our mind. It's not a time to get depressed. It's not a time to get sad. It's a time to be a solutionary.
There you go.
You know, it's a time to be the blessing. It's a time to move forward, family. God put everything in us. Allah put everything in us that we need in order to go to the next level, to create the kingdom of God and help in that process to bring it about. You know, let your name be used for something of good and not something of evil. Don't let them trick you. How did my brother say it with his song? About don't let them trick you.
Oh, you talking about Bob Marley?
No.
Who?
Recently, don't let them.
Oh, you talking about don't fall for it, right. Brother KRS-One.
KRS-One. He like don't fall for it, you know, because it's a lot of wicked, deceiving, crooked enemies out there. Go to was it Farrakhan in Tucson that you posted that this morning?
No, I didn't post it. I can get it real quick.
Well, just send it. You know, go to Mindspark Creation or Farrakhan in Tucson.
I'm gonna put it in the chat.
Yeah, my husband's always dropping jewels, but you know, we got to know that we're living in the hour of these magicians. Okay, and they're casting their spells. You know, they're casting their spells, but know that Allah is the best of planners, and He's already considered their plan. And He has His own plan, but we have to stay the course. And Minister Farrakhan said we're gonna have to go through some struggles, you know. But I think it's how you go through that struggle that determines, you know, the outcome. Work cheerfully. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad said, "Work cheerfully, family,
and fear not,
because Allah has given us the victory. We will be victorious."
That's right.
You know, whether I'm physically here or my life has been used to help further us into a new world order of Allah, then all praises be to Allah. All right. I guess like y'all should be on the show by now, so we call.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so you know, family, we gonna get ready to wrap this up. But I just want us to realize Mindspark Creations our motto is to let the spark in your mind create a new reality, right? So that presupposes that you have to have a new and different kind of mindset. I just want to touch on this quickly. For those of you who have seen our logo, and those of you who may not know this, that man is on his knees coming out of a black hole, which is said is impossible to get out of a black hole because nothing can escape a black hole. So they say even light. So this black man is coming out of the darkness of the black hole. He's out of it. He's on his knee. He's holding up Mind Spark Creations, letting you know that the darkness that enveloped him inside of that black hole, the movement of the light, the movement of the water, the vacuum that he was captured in, he came out of the vacuum and now he sits on top of the black hole and he is holding up the banner of Mind Spark Creations that has a atom in the name of it, because the atom is the beginning of life. You got to turn it because the light is kind of hitting. The atom, I don't know if you all can see that. The black hole, he's on top of the black hole. And he is got the atom in the middle. And the atom is the beginning of life. And when you hit the atoms together, right, they explode. And then not only do they explode, they increase in number. So it's a powerful thing, but it is what we all have to do. Mind Spark Creations, we have to come out of the black hole of our own selves and our reality and get on top of the black hole. And once we get this company where we want it, he's going to launch Mind Spark Creations into the universe. He's going to throw it into the universe and it's going to spin like a sun. It's going to spin like a sun. Yeah, you heard what I said. So that's once we get it to where we want it. Right now, he's still on top of the black hole, working out what they said was impossible. And that what they say is impossible is the resurrection, transformation of people. But when you see a BWO, when you see an ABS tribe, when you see the Nation of Islam, when you see those of like minds that are stepping out of the box that we normally step out on and making the difference, that's when you know that God is present.
That's right.
That's when you know God is present, family.
Yes,
well, we're going to end it with that. Please come on and join us on Love My Kidneys at what time is it now?
At 10:30.
So in about a half hour, come on over to Love My Kidneys, where we're going to be talking about Ramadan preparation and exemptions. There are some things that can actually inhibit you from partaking of Ramadan. And our brothers is going to lead us into some of that knowledge. So you don't want to miss that. But we said we was going to take on this subject about, is your community killing you? So join us once again on Love My Kidneys in about a half hour where we can have that conversation, okay? Yes. All right, family, we pray that you all have enjoyed this. We know that we have. Thank you, Brother Gavin, for coming in. I saw Dawood in the place. Right. I saw him come in. All praises due to Allah. Brother Johnny X, Sister Sabira, Brother Roosevelt. We thank you all so much for being here with Sister Terry Harris. We thank you all so much for being here with us. We pray that we share something of value for all of you all that are not members of the BWO. We highly suggest that you all get involved. They're doing some great things over there. They doing some great things, teaching you how to invest, teaching you how to change your mindset, teaching you how to, as my brother said, increase your vibration. We'll be talking about that a little later
That's
on the Queen of Rap when we talking about chakra healing.
That's
We're going
right.
to talk about that at 3:00 on the Queen of Rap and how you use crystals to heal your chakras, okay?
Yeah.
So for those of you who not familiar with chakras, come on over.
Come on, we got some information.
At 3:00, we got some information for you. So we love you, family. May Allah continue to bless you all. Ramadan Mubarak.
Ramadan Mubarak, family. We love you.
May Allah continue to bless us all in our fasting. And remember to be the best because you are the best. And continue to let the spark in your mind create a new reality. Assalamu alaikum, family. Inshallah, we'll see you in about a half hour on Love My Kidneys. Assalamu alaikum.